gonna be a form that's gonna be downstairs for anybody that calls in for suspected leak. Okay, so we need to touch this one first, it's not in that package right there. Just want you to take a look at this, okay? This is anybody that calls in suspected leak, even for you, okay? If they call you direct, okay, you need to go through the exact same steps. She coming up?
I want him to come up.
Oh, okay.
That's fine, you don't, I want you to do this. This is about emergency leaks. as well.
We got so many things to try to squeeze in here,
We
it's like,
are.
"Argh."
I thought he went home.
Who's that?
Okay, for suspected leak, anytime anybody calls in for any type of suspected leak, now this could be, you know, they're smelling gas, or they have a notification on their phone from either one of the Nest fire detectors or Echo Bees or anything else. It'll tell them if it's got, you know, if they're smelling gas. It'll even tell them if there's carbon monoxide, okay, and they're gonna get it on their phone. It may not be at the house, but you have to have a written procedure on how to handle these calls. And you have to document these calls because you cannot miss an item. You may have a list of 14 things here that you have to ask these specific questions. If you ask 13 of them but forget the one and the house goes up or they fall asleep because of carbon monoxide poisoning, guess what? You're on the hook for millions of dollars, okay? Even though that you were 13 out of 14, that's not good enough. You've got to be 14 out of 14. So you have a script for this to make certain that you handle this properly. So when you get a call, even if you get a call on your bobtail, you need to keep one of these there just to make certain that you ask the proper questions, okay? And you do it. So first of all, you get the customer's address, name, address, and telephone number. And the very first question you're going to ask them is, do you smell the gas, or are you getting your warning from inside the house or outside the house? Okay? If they say it's inside the house, immediately evacuate the structure. Don't ask them these questions, tell them to leave the structure immediately. Okay? And as they're leaving, or once they're safe outside, then ask them the following questions. We don't want them opening windows, we don't want them to do anything else. We want them to get out of the house because they're smelling gas. They don't know how much gas is in there. Okay? And we don't know where it's at, where it's located, or anything else. We want them safe outside. If they do, and they say it's inside, you tell them to leave outside, they're still on the cell phone, or you call, or say, call me back as soon as you're outside. Then you ask them these series of questions. Do you hear gas escaping? And you record yes or no. Do you smell gas throughout the building? Well, yes or no. Has a gas line been damaged? They may not know, but they may have moved a piece of equipment, may have damaged it. So you're trying to get as much information as possible. Has an appliance been moved or disconnected? This is happening, we're a move in, move out. Renters, okay, they take an appliance that wasn't theirs in the first place. Okay, do you have a pilot out on any appliance? Okay, there are still some customers out there still have open pilot equipment. Okay, they've got it. And the last one, do you smell gas all of the time? And if yes, how long? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get an estimate of what's going on with the house. Now, the reason why this is important to you, this is normally a CSR that's going to be taking this call. So the CSR is going to call you and ask you, hey, listen, I need you to go take care of this emergency service. Well, you'd like to know what's going on before you get there, okay? So they're going to be able to give you information so you're not walking into an explosive situation. All right? Now, if it's not inside, if it's outside, you're going to ask them the same information. Has any construction work or grading been done in the area? Do you smell gas escaping? Okay, is the odor strong in a particular area? It may be windy, may be raining. Okay, that's going to affect how they smell the gas. Okay? Is the leak near any building? Is the leak in the yard? Did they hit the top of an underground tank? And that's what's causing the leak. Okay? Or how long have you smelt the gas? If it's, you know, a week that's below 0 degrees and it's frozen, sorry about that. Okay, that propane, until it gets warm enough, until the ground gets warm enough, it's not going to vaporize and get up. So that leak may have been there for a while, and it just happened to be warm enough that you're going to smell it from now. So you want to ask the same questions, record yes or no. Once you've recorded this question, whether it's inside or outside, Your next line, it has to be word for word. You have to read in the script. I want you to immediately evacuate the structure. Extinguish all smoking materials and open flames. That means do not operate any electrical switches, do not light any matches or lighters, and do not use the phone indoors. For each of these questions you've asked or you've instructed them, put a check mark beside it to show that you haven't missed anything along the way. All right, instruct the customer to close the cylinder or tank supply at the valve if possible, and do not enter the building again, okay? Determine the severity of the leak from the customer based on the questions that you've got here. Make a decision to contact the fire department first. In most cases, they're gonna call you first. But if they determine it's real serious, CSR has the responsibility to call the fire department.
Wes, is it a, okay, so it's saying once a leak is detected, if you start, hey, you in the house, you smell gas in the house, once they say, yeah, I smell gas in the house, do you skip right to?
You tell them immediately to leave the house.
Right, but you're
Ask
still gonna
them
ask them all those other questions before you tell them,
No, you're gonna tell them immediately leave the structure.
right?
Okay, when you tell them immediately leave the structure, let me know when you're outside, then you're gonna ask them the series of questions, and then you're gonna review everything with them.
Should we tell them to hang up the phone or actually stay on the phone?
You don't know if they're on the house phone,
We
you don't know
don't.
if they're on the cell phone.
We don't.
It's better if they're on the cell phone
Just
to just
leave it how
walk
it
out of
is,
the house.
that's my
Because if
thought,
they
yeah.
close it or anything else,
It could create a
It could
disruption, right, yeah.
yes,
So you mentioned like old 14, if you find out the leak is inside, do you forego the outside questions?
yes. You only ask
So in
specific
that
what it is.
situation, you only need
If it's
7.
inside, you only ask those questions. If it's outside, you only ask those questions. All right? So you've got this, you've determined the severity, you dispatch your drivers. Okay, so if CSR dispatches the driver, she's gonna come down here and write, hey, guess what? You're up. There's your name. There's the time I called. I called at 9 o'clock. When the call comes in, she's gonna ask you, how long is it gonna take you to get from the north side of the county to the south side of the county? You're gonna say, ETA, 45 minutes. I just gotta have to lock up here. Whatever you're working on at that time, you lock it up and leave it in a safe condition. You don't finish your work. You close off whatever it is, leave it in a safe condition, and your job is to fire in a theater. Go handle this problem immediately, because this is life-threatening. All right, so you give them the ETA. Now, your company policy is you have a response time of 2 hours or less, okay? It shouldn't take you that long. If it's 2 hours or more, then there's gonna be some serious consequences from these guys, all right? Now, the only thing that throws a loop in this nowadays is carbon monoxide. If they get a notice on here and it pops up and says instead of fire or instead of, gas leak, it pops up carbon monoxide, they're gonna call you and say, I got a carbon monoxide leak. They're gonna ask the same questions. Is it inside or outside? Well, you're gonna say, is it inside? Because it came on their phone, okay? That's their detectors on the inside. So you're gonna ask them the question, all right? They're probably not gonna be able to answer those questions, but you have to ask them anyway. But your first response as a CSR person, instead of calling you directly to be dispatched, their first call is to the fire department. The fire department is always gonna be the first responders. The reason why? Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide poisoning, that means there's a chance somebody may be unconscious, they need medical attention, you do not have first aid, you do not have CPR, you do not have the necessary oxygen equipment to be a first responder. Now, they're gonna call the fire department, she's gonna document the fire department called and what time she called, and then she's gonna call you to sign that. Your job is still to go out there just like the fire in the theater, but your job is to lock the tank out, shut the tank off. You are not to enter that building until the fire department enters that building first to provide first aid and emergency response to that customer. Any questions about any of that? If you miss anything in here, they are liable for any damage or any loss of life. It's very, very important that we get this right, and that's the reason why you have a form for this particular situation. Any questions? All right, there's the Debbie Downer note. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple take a look at the forms. Okay, so the first one you've got, let's take a look at your Bobtail inspection form. Or tell me which ones you've got there, just to make certain. Plant form, I know that one's in there.
One for the
Yeah.
dispensing station.
Okay, here's your bulk plant. Okay? Bulk plant inspection form. Okay, this is gonna be required each month and annually. Okay, it's real easy to do. Okay, everything's set up accordingly. First one's gonna be construction code. It's gonna say, hey, have you checked the data plates? The data plate's still attached? Yeah. Yes. Okay, required distance? Yes. Almost all of these here for the construction, once that plant's built, you don't have to worry about it, because you're just checking yes. There's not anything that you have to come up with. Now, you do have to check each month, make certain that the foundation's still in good shape. You know, the concrete hasn't started cracking or anything like that. That the footings and everything still look good, okay? The saddles, there should be a rubber, they usually use a rubber belt in the saddles to protect the tank itself, to make certain that hasn't just dissolved or discrated. So you wanna make certain that you got that checked. Now, depending on your states, on this one, I've got this one for another company, but they operate in Illinois, so Illinois requires them to have bumpers to separate 10 foot from your bulkhead from your plant. So yours is gonna be a little different. I've got yours specifically for that. The next one's gonna be tank and fittings. It's gonna ask you, do you have any corrosion? Is the paint on the tank in good shape? Make certain that your labels and placards are in good shape, that your vent stacks are still open, you know, that are still closed, that they haven't opened up and remained open, that all your connectors, valves, and everything look good. Making certain all your pressure gauges on the side of the tank are proper, so your temperature gauge, your pressure gauge, your actual tank monitor gauge are gonna be on there. Okay, then you're gonna check your pumps. Now, most of your pumps are sealed units. You no longer have to check the oil in them. Okay, so all you're gonna do is check and make sure everything looks good. There's no corrosion, nothing involved in there. No squirrels have tried to get in there and build a nest that night before. Okay. All right, pipes and hoses. You wanna make certain that each piece of piping, okay, coming from the tank itself, going up to the bulkhead, is labeled. Okay, and either for vapor or for liquid, okay? In Ohio, you don't have to have color coding, so it just has to be labeled, so you're okay from there. Okay, with that, you're also gonna check your hoses. Each of your hoses are just like your hoses on your bobtail. They're gonna be rated for LP gas on there, so you wanna verify that. You wanna verify the dates. Those hoses are good for 10 years, okay? So you wanna make certain that you've got that information. Then emergency shutoffs, you're gonna go around and hit each one of the emergency shutoffs to make certain that they're working properly. So you hit one, you go back and reset it. You hit one, you go back and reset it, and you check it off on your list there. Electrical equipment, the only thing you've got is your lights. You want to flip on your lights and make certain they're working. If you have to replace the bulbs, you gotta record it. You gotta record it in your soon-to-be operation and maintenance manual. Anytime that you do any repair work on your bulk plant out here, you have to keep a written record of every repair that's been done, even if it's changing a light bulb. And that has to be kept for the life of the operation of that bulk plant. So we're gonna get you up in January. So then you're gonna check and make certain as far as your signs, your fire extinguishers, and making certain that you don't have any combustible materials anywhere along through there. So it's a real easy checklist, as you can see. 50% of it, once the plant goes into construction, it's done with. The rest of it's just regular maintenance. So any question about the inspection report? Okay, the next one is, this is a crane inspection report that I'm gonna give to you. I just gotta clean it up a little bit. You're not gonna have to worry about the daily thing, but you can use the same crane information. It's just a checklist, and it says, okay, this is the code. This is what you're gonna have as far as what parts, so it's gonna be the cables, it's gonna be
You don't have
hydraulics
this
and
one?
everything else. You don't have this one, okay, because I'm still working on this one. Then you're gonna have, let's see, is that Sam?
Yeah, the tank, cargo tank.
Yep. So
They
you
do
actually
have
got a
this.
different form.
But, yeah, you have something similar to this.
Okay, you have two different forms in front of you. These are checklists. Delivery checklist and new customer checklist. Now, this is anytime that you've got, since you've been growing so much and you're adding people, you want to make certain that you're training them the same way each time. So even people that's worked for a while, you find shortcuts and you get in a bad habit. So we want to get you back into step by step by step on how to set a tank, whether it's a new customer, whether it's an existing customer, and the steps that you have to do. So this isn't a checklist format, and one of the things that they're going to do, Scott and Tony, they're going to put signature down there for supervisor and for the technician. So the supervisor's going to sign off, the technician's going to sign off and say, okay, this goes in the employee file. We can turn him loose. We feel comfortable enough that he's good enough out in the field. So any questions about that one? And dispensing station. Okay, dispensing station just a little bit shorter form. This has to be done annually. Now with dispensing station, not only your dispensing station, the dispensing stations you have out in the field. If they're in an RV place or a Home Depot or whatever, whoever you supply that has a dispensing station that you provide gas for. Okay, we went through the dispensing station class this morning, okay? So that same materials, 4 or 5 different sections according to what they do, they have to have the exact same training, they have to have the exact same test, and it has to be documented. So here, you have to make certain that number one, the dispensing station hasn't been moved from where you originally set it, that it has all the proper valves, that you can open and close them properly, that nothing's been damaged, that the electrical shutoffs and signage are there properly exposed, that you have your emergency shop and pull cables that can actuate and that you try them out, and that they are placarded or posted correctly. Okay, you examine the dispensing hoses, both the flexible hoses and the dispensing hose. Each of those are 10 years also, so you need to check the dates and the codes for those. Hydraulic relief valves, and you need to make certain that the canister or whatever it's enclosed in can be locked up and secured at that time. The dispensing station compliance, you're going to check and make certain that they do have scales and they're always set to 0. And for your state, you actually have a state that comes by and weights and measures that does their scales. Okay? You're going to check their fire extinguishers just like you would check yours. You're going to verify that all the tank signage is legible, 1075 to 704 stickers, nothing's faded, and that you have an SDS form for them. And then the last one, you're going to make a list of all the employees that they have, and you're going to verify that they have the training, they have a certificate by the instructor of wherever they are at, the RV place or whatever. They have to have this training, and you have to document that this person has passed it. That's the name, and that's the date in the comment sections. So, any question about that one? Again, I feel like I'm just rapid firing here, so I just want to give you a little bit. Okay, am I missing anything else in there? Okay, I just want to show you one other thing and then we're finished. And this isn't going to take very long. Okay, everybody knows, okay, you're using our P3 system as far as leak checks, okay, and paperwork and everything else. We have a mobile, okay, and we're going to talk about this later, but I just wanted to show you real quick. Okay, if you've got a tablet, all you have to do is we give you a login, you sign in. So I'm just going to run through a gas check for you real quick and show you how quick it is to do a gas check. We're just going to say he's got a furnace, he's got a tank, he's got a twin stage regulator, and no additional piping, okay? We're going to say it's a AmeriGas customer, it's going to be a Powers Gas guy. Okay, so we're going to click in here in safety inspection. We're going to type in the account number. The account name should come up. We're going to pop it in. We're going to check and see if he has a location. Yeah, I need to go back a second. I got happy there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Son of Sam. There's his address. You click on the address. And this is what you see on the form. Now this, I'm going to explain what this means. The first